Hey there, YouTubers. Well, today on the show, one thing I want to mention is we had an extended Packer Nation roll call during the live show. So if you want to fast forward through that, that's fine. But Packer Nation was represented from all over the United States and beyond today. So I wanted to do a little more of that. But we did have a good show talking about what the Packers are going to need to do to be successful against the Atlanta Falcons. We played a new game called Top Perfomers. Who's going to have the most touchdowns? Who's going to have the most rushing yards, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It was a lot of fun. We talked about the injuries, of course. That is an issue that I don't think we're going to get away from for a long time. And we had a lot of good discussion on the live show, so I hope you will check it out in its recorded format right here on Good Packer Nation Morning. Good Packer Nation Thursday morning, everybody. We got football is back. Jacksonville, I think the Jags are taking on the Texans tonight. And so we got some football to watch tonight, which is one good thing. The other good thing is you are past hump day. Tomorrow is Friday, and the weekend is rolling in, and we got Packer football, and we are getting back on a regular schedule. So if you're out there, let me know who you are and where you're coming at me from, and we will do some Packer Nation roll call as we get the show started today. Bryce is here from Minnesota. How you doing, man? It's a little dismal down here in Tennessee, but I hope Minnesota isn't quite snowing yet. Benjamin is here from Rochester, New York. We got Linda from Lake City, Minnesota. John says top of the morning. Are you in the United States? I mean, top of the morning. Tim is here. Matt is here. Good to see you guys. Jackie is here. From northern Wisconsin. Awesome. It's probably getting pretty chilly up there by now. The leaves are looking beautiful, I bet. Kelsey says hello from North Dakota. Mike and Melissa and Nicholas and Billy and Jeff. My goodness. We got Gabe from Oklahoma City today. We got Marisol. I don't know if I'm saying that name right. I apologize if I mispronounce your name. From Van Horn, Texas. We got Chris from Iowa. My goodness, they're all over. Kendall, Wisconsin. Tyler. Florida is represented by Brett. Syracuse, New York by John. Minneapolis has Jacqueline coming on with us. Wow, it is crazy out there, guys. Good to hear from all of you, and good to know Packer Nation is still strong out there. In fact, I'll tell this little story real quick because I'm down here in the northeast corner of Tennessee, Wisconsin transplant, but down here exiled in Tennessee. And about last summer, I look across the street, and the new folks are moving into the condos that live across the street from my house, and they got Wisconsin license plates. And then just this week, actually it was maybe a month ago or so, I had some new folks move into the condos on the other side, and they put a Packer flag out front. So Packer Nation is strong across the globe, folks. I didn't see if good old Jared Dixon is on with his good day today. We got Louie from Virginia. Vanessa from Cali. Man, I'm doing an extended roll call today because videos are backwards because that's the way they record them. They're mirror images because I'm using my front-facing camera and Facebook hasn't corrected that yet. So Brown is here. Terry is here. Matt is here. All right. Well, guys, the injury report, of course, we sort of commiserated on Tuesday after Monday, like just being a really bad day with Banjo and Aberderis. And, and then finding out that Randall had groin surgery. It's a crazy situation, but it's Throwback Thursday. So, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but this is a Packer team that won a Super Bowl with 16. I see the list change, like 16 or 17 starters on IR. So, that was the year of like Frank Zombo and I think Desmond Bishop was in there, although that's not really much of a step back. I really liked him before he got hurt. Ricky says, good morning. Good morning there. So we can still get her done, I guess. But let's take a look here. We've got a lot of did not participate. The most notable being Clay Matthews, but the story is that he's going to play. He just was sort of a scratch for practice. But it's kind of a long list, unfortunately. Let me switch over here. And we know Jared Cook, he didn't participate, obviously. Demarius Randall, Quentin Rollins, obviously, and James Starks, obviously. But, of course, we got Randall Cobb has got this. He was limited with a hamstring, and those hamstrings always bother me. They always worry me. Remember the kind of struggles we've gone through with Clay Matthews and hamstring issues. They are a lingering issue. TJ Lang had a hip. He was a limited participant as well. Of course, we'll expect him to play. He's a tough old boy. So we'll expect him to play, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, and the Packers do not have. It's going to be a tough test because we got to go down to Atlanta, play the Falcons. However, this week, Mike McCarthy talked about the fact that we've got. Well, and Henry's mentioned it right now, just like the 2011 Super Bowl after the 2010 season, crazy injuries. Jared, hamstrings are the worst. They are one of these nagging things that just limits your performance, but you get on the field, but then when you get on the field, then you re-injure them, and they nag you some more. They're cyclical, and that's what I don't like about hammies. But one good thing is, Mike McCarthy talked about this. We've got about 10 weeks of regularity finally for a change. You know, this Packers team has not had a chance to get into a regular season at all. And we started out in Jacksonville. We had 2 games on the road. The preseason was very odd. Now, even last week, we still had this Thursday game in the middle of our home stretch. And so now finally the Packers, and this is one of the things that McCarthy hangs his hat on, is we get to finally get a little bit of a circadian rhythm to what we're doing as a team. That doesn't help us. That doesn't bring players back on the field. But what it does do is, especially for those players who are being pressed into service right now, it gives them a chance to know and be confident in what's going on a day-to-day basis, knowing when the meetings are, knowing when the practices are. And I think that's going to be a big benefit for us because, especially on offense, one of the things that we haven't been able to do is get into a rhythm. And getting into a rhythm starts off the field. So if we can get into a rhythm off the field, that may help us get into a rhythm on the field. And so let's hope it does. However, of course, beginning of this against the Atlanta Falcons is a difficult way to get started. And the last thing we want to do is start off by faltering on offense again. If we can continue to hit our stride on offense, even with the adjustments we've had to make, especially in the running back department, if we can continue to hit our stride on offense and then have a regular schedule finally come in, then we'll see good things down the road. And we're going to need it because we've got some tough competition coming in. We've talked about this before. Every one of you probably out there knew it. The strength of schedule was a joke. We knew, and the gods of the NFL put together the most difficult schedule they could for us based on strength of schedule. And now what we're doing is we're reaping the benefits of both of those things. Number one, that the schedule has been laid out to make it very difficult for us this year. But then number two, that those teams that a lot of people, because of wins and losses, would call gimmies, are anything but a gimme right now. So moving forward, we've got to hit our stride, especially on offense. All right, let's do a little circle the stat. I like to pull out a stat once in a while and talk about it because I think it is important. I always mention Mike McCarthy says stats are for losers. However, he uses more than anybody else. But what he does, his point is that you use statistics to see the things that jump out at you and help you understand what you have to correct. Now, one interesting thing that you may or may not recall from the Packers versus the Bears jumped out at me, and that is this. Into the third quarter of the Bears game, the Packers had 18 plays inside the 30-yard line. 18 plays. You remember that beautiful, amazing Davante Adams touchdown grab over the back of the defender that really sort of kicked off his night that night? That touchdown was the first touchdown we scored after having 18 plays inside the 30, which tells you exactly the story of the first half in the Packers versus Bears game. So we have gotten, and it's great. It's great that we got enough rhythm and we had these plays inside the 30. But if we want to beat the Atlanta Falcons, we have got to get in the end zone earlier than we did before. And the Packers, and we're up against it because we do not have, at this point, a power running back. We don't have somebody that we can call on to just pound the rock. We're going to see a lot more of Ty Montgomery, I would expect. Hopefully, I am hoping that Don Jackson, here's the deal, all right? We don't know. He's going to practice today. They're going to figure out whether he can play or not. With that injury, let's just let Niall Davis have his shot right now, because the last thing we can afford is to have a running back out there fumble the ball. That's the one thing, knock on wood, we have been able to stay away from. We have had fumble problems. We have had turnover problems. But the one thing so far, knock on wood, we have been able to stay away from is running backs fumbling the ball. Let's put Niall Davis in and just let Niall Davis, Ty Montgomery, and Aaron Ripkowski handle the load until Don Jackson is healthy, as far as I'm concerned. Tim says hi from Cali. But to do, but the major point is we have got to our red zone offense has to improve. You can't have 18 plays inside the 30 and not have a touchdown. So it goes to the one thing that we didn't do last week it was again a tale of two halves. And the one through line of this entire season, and Mike McCarthy talked about this week, that what they're looking at for the offense, they're looking square at the Detroit game when they scored all those points. But every single offensive performance so far has been about 2 quarters worth of good football. We need to have 4 quarters worth of good football if we're going to beat the Atlanta Falcons. And we haven't seen it yet this year. And that is one thing I would like to hear Mike McCarthy talk about. I have yet to hear any of the players, any of the coaches get on there and say, listen, we got to play 4 quarters of football. We play about roughly 2 quarters of decent football, and the rest is kind of garbage, to be honest. The rest is a comedy of errors. We can't do that. So we get that corrected. Let's get those 18 plays. I have nothing against the 18 plays inside the 30. That's awesome. But we need to have a couple of touchdowns to show for it. Now we're in good shape to take on these Atlanta Falcons, and I think we can get it done. So, but that's my circle the stat for the day, because I think that's going to be incredibly important. And really what I think it points to again is this: no more tale of two halves. No more tale of 2 quarters, whatever those 2 quarters may be. It's time to play 4 quarters of football. The game is made by quarters, and there are 4 of them, not 2. It's about time we finally get this going. And I think we can do it. Ty Montgomery has had a week to continue to learn his it's a new position, basically, on the offense. It's kind of a hybrid position that he's got. The coaching staff has had a time to coach him up. We've got, Niall Davis has had a chance to start to fit himself into the system. He's been working very hard to learn the terminology. And at this point, I think we can see this thing happen. Peter saying Aaron's coming out of the slump. He'll get it together. We got a thumbs up. We got a thumbs up. If you believe Aaron is on his way out of the slump, and he is on his way up right now, give me a thumbs up. If you think Aaron Rodgers is on his way out, because I do, I really do. I think a lot of this, this is a 50-50 ball game. The passers, Aaron has missed some passes, but our receivers have failed to get open, and our receivers have dropped some balls. It's always a two-way street, but I've got this feeling that we're getting there. Give me a thumbs up if you believe. I see some angry face if you don't, and I see a few of those. That's fine too, but... and of course, the Atlanta Falcons are not the Chicago Bears, but I think the Chicago Bears defense played a pretty good game considering how hot Aaron Rodgers was in this game, just to keep us out of the end zone for as many plays as they did. And I think we do have an opportunity against the Atlanta Falcons defense to do somewhat the same thing. So it's going to take, like I said, one of the keys to the game in my post was we have got to get a fast start. We have got to get off to a fast start. There isn't going to be any sort of dragging our feet in this game into the second quarter and thinking that we're going to play from behind and win this game. This is the best offense in the league. So we've got to get off to a fast start. But if we get in rhythm like we did against the Bears, and then we finish like we, to some extent, failed to in those first 2 quarters against the Bears, we're gonna see good things out of this Packer offense. So, all right. Let's see. Yeah, that's okay. That's circle the stat. I've got a new game that I wanted to try. All right. So what you need to do when we start playing games on here, you got to get your finger warmed up, and all you have to hit in this game is the thumbs up button and wait for your guy. Okay. So the game is called Top Perfomers. All right. So it's the age-old question: who's going to have the most whatever? All right. And I'm going to name off some names. When you hear the name that you believe in called, you hit the thumbs up button, okay? Everybody got that? And this is going to be fun because the first one is actually a head-to-head matchup, so we can have Packers units or we could have Packers versus Atlanta Falcons, et cetera, okay? So here goes, top performers. Who will be the top performer in the game, Packers versus Falcons? Who will have the most touchdowns, Aaron Rodgers or Matt Ryan? Okay, this got to be head-to-head because hopefully we only play one quarterback in this game. Wait, I'm sorry. I got to do them one at a time. This is the first for me. Okay, if you think Aaron Rodgers gets the most touchdowns, you got to put the thumb up now. All right? I got to play this. I got to play by my own rules. It's a problem. Matthew says, go Pack from Cincinnati, Ohio. If you think Rodgers is going to have the most touchdowns in this game, give me a thumbs up right now. Because, again, look at what Matt Ryan has done. Matt Ryan is leading the league. I mean, this is one heck of an offense we're running into. So if you think Aaron Rodgers is going to have the most touchdowns in this game, hit that thumbs up button right now, and I'm going to pause for just a little bit. And if you think, on the other hand, that Matt Ryan is going to have the most touchdowns in this game, hit the thumbs up now. Or actually hit the heart button for that one. Hit that angry face. Hit something different. I don't know. I need to think these things through a little more. It's easier after this one. It's actually easy after this one. Yeah, and Kevin, good point. Kevin Chapman is out there saying it's pretty much Aaron Rodgers versus Matt Ryan. And I tend to agree with that because you've got Aaron Rodgers who has struggled a bit, but when he's on, he's got the wide receiver core around him to get the job done. And we've seen him score. You look at him, against Detroit, for crying out loud. Then you've got Matt Ryan, who, he's got Julio Jones. He's got a good cast around him. He's on fire right now. However, it doesn't take much for a quarterback to get out of sync. If our defense, hits him early and often, he gets a little bit out of sync. Packers defense smells blood in the water. He could be the one out of sync very quickly. So I think the main difference right now between Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan is Aaron Rodgers, when he is scrambling and extending the play, is finding no one. Matt Ryan, when he is scrambling and extending the play, he is on sync, especially with Julio Jones right now. So, and we've got the comment from Mike that, receivers need to get open. And it's true. So there's a lot of work to be done. But we took a step forward against the Bears. All right, top performer. Who will have the most touchdown catches in this game, receptions? Do you have thumbs up if you have Randall Cobb? Most touchdown receptions in this game. Not many for Randall right now. Who says, I see a few, who says Jordy Nelson is going to have the most touchdown grabs in the Packers versus the Falcons? Jordy Nelson, is he going to come on strong in this game? Not a lot thinking Jordy Nelson either. What about Davante Adams? Who thinks Davante Adams? Oh, I see a few out there giving a little love to Jordy. What about Davante Adams? Give me a thumbs up if you think Davante Adams right now is going to be the top performer. Touchdown receptions, Packers versus Falcons right now. And I've got one more that I'm throwing into the mix. I'm throwing it into the mix because I got a kind of a hunch. All right? I see some love. I see some love for Davante Adams. I think it's important for Aaron Rodgers to continue to trust him and for Adams to continue to be trustworthy. I think that could be huge for us down the road. Let me throw one more in. Touchdown catches, top performer, Richard Rodgers. Anybody got the notion that Richard Rodgers, I could see the screen maybe clearing out pretty good, but anybody think that Richard Rodgers has a chance, especially as a red zone threat and the way we were able to get into the red zone against the Atlanta Falcons? I see a few out there. Leroy says Adams is shining. Man, he's got to keep it up. And that's the thing is you have this hesitation, but man, if he continues, if he stacks successes right now, this kid, his ceiling is so high. So great comment out there. Ricky thinks Richard Rodgers is too slow. I think I'm talking red zone, and I think Richard Rodgers could have something to say in this game. All right. Top performers. Let's see. What do I have next out here? Oh, okay. Let's go back to the receiving core, but let's talk about yards. Who's going to have the most yards? Let's go start from the top. Randall Cobb. Who's going to have the most yards? Will Randall Cobb have the most yards in this game? Give me a thumbs up right now. And again, if you're driving, please don't play this game. I just feel like I need to say that every time. As disclaimer made. There have been some questions asked about Cook. We're not gonna hear anything. I don't think. I think it's gonna be a while. I have a bad feeling about Cook, but we'll see. I did post. Let's do Ty Cobb. All right. How about Jordy Nelson, who thinks he's gonna top out in yards this time around? And while you guys are thumbs up, and if you think Jordy Nelson's gonna be the top performer in yards, let me mention I did post that humor post. I posted it on the Cheese Newswire Facebook fan page and the GPN fan page about Mike McCarthy's plan to rest starters on the injury list is coming along nicely. So that is up for you if you want to check that out. All right. How about Davante Adams? Davante Adams going to have the most yards in this game? I mean, he kicked butt against the Bears. And he's got a lot of defensive coordinators, like I think Peter Vargas mentioned, a lot of defensive coordinators are going to have to consider swinging a safety over his way or double teaming him in some way, which means an opportunity for either Jordy Nelson or Randall Cobb. So do you think Adams is going to have the most yards? I don't see not a lot of people think Adams is going to have the most yards. Do you? And you might see that as kind of a rubber band effect, that defensive coordinators see that we've got to shut this guy down, and Adams gets a little more attention and gets a few less yards, okay? All right, top performers, let's move on. How about yards again? Okay, running back yards. Who's going to have the most? Ty Montgomery. If you think Ty Montgomery is going to have the most yards in this game, give me a thumbs up. Top performer, Ty Montgomery. Give me a thumbs up right now. Dan is saying Ty is going to tear it up. I'm a little bit concerned about Ty just because defensive coordinators are going to see what the Packers are up to with him, but I do love he's got speed to the edge. He tends to stretch defenses out, forces them to hedge their bet a little bit to the outside to make sure they don't get beat. That opens up the middle. The question then, I really think Ty Montgomery in combination with Aaron Ripkowski could have a lot to say in this game. Because Aaron Ripkowski had a nice, I think, 3 or 4 yard gain, and 3 or 4 yards at a time, it helps you with time of possession. And as long as we finish in the red zone, it could be because what better way to keep Matt Ryan from scoring than not let him get on the field? Okay, so great point. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Who thinks Don Jackson is going to have the most yards on the ground? I've said before, I almost hope that they just hold him out. We'll find out if he can even play, I guess, after practice today. And I do see a few thumbs up coming across. A lot of love for Ty out there, though. And I'm the same way. The guy has been smart. He's big, but he's fast. He's smart. He's athletic. The description of Ty Montgomery I've made every time I describe him is he is one of the most fluid athletes I have seen in a long time. All right, but we were talking about Don Jackson. All right, how about Nile Davis? Who out there thinks Nile Davis is going to find his way into the system, get some maybe short yardage running plays, and have the most yards in this game? Maybe sort of punching away. Maybe a little bit of trickery with Montgomery. And we've got a little bit of love for Nile out there. I would like to see him get more carries in this game. I want to see what he can do. Obviously, both of them were so limited. I mean, Jackson goes out hurt, and Niall Davis just with a few reps, and I want to see more of what he can do. Like I said yesterday, this game, I think this game comes down to the play of our offensive line. Ty Montgomery, if our offensive line plays well, will have a chance to be very successful. Niall Davis, even though he's new to the system, if our offensive line plays well, will have a chance to be successful. So Niall Davis. All right, one last one I'm throwing out there, okay? Randall Cobb. Anybody out there think Randall Cobb? I mean, they continue to put him back there. I'm expecting and hoping for less and less, but if you think Randall Cobb goes in there out of the backfield and has a bunch of yards, maybe he breaks one. I don't know. Randall Cobb could break one at any time, but give me a thumbs up right now. All right. Troy is saying Davis maybe he has some talent. Better hang on to the ball. I couldn't agree with you more. And that is the one fear I have, and mostly for me with Jackson right now. And the injury, but we have been putting the ball on the carpet way too much, but the one way that we have not done that is by our running backs fumbling. So knock on wood on that. We need to get that cleaned up. It's going to be key to this game. So, all right, let's see. Okay, I got one last top performer for you today, and that is sacks. Okay, these are kind of the obvious ones. Maybe I'll come up with some more creative ones later, but. Who will have the most sacks in this game? I think I might flip things around a little bit. All right, will Julius Peppers have the most sacks in this game? Give me a thumbs up. I think Julius Peppers could be a big-time key in this game. Give me a thumbs up if you think Julius Peppers has the most sacks of Ryan in this game. I hate to say it, but another one of those nice Julius Peppers, Clay Matthews sandwich on Matt Ryan. I think that's my buddy Rick out there. Says Julius Peppers is going to have a big part to play, have more sacks. Second, Clay Matthews. Give me a thumbs up if you think it's going to be Clay Matthews out there. Now, remember, he did not participate in practice. We think he's fine. It's sort of, but it's, again, one of these nagging things, and who knows if it will just hamper him on the field, if it won't affect him at all, or if they finally decide that he can't go. It's one of those up-in-the-air things. I expect him to go. And every time he goes, I expect him to play well. He's just that kind of a player. But give me a thumbs up if you think Clay Matthews is going to have the most sacks in the game versus the Falcons. And finally, you cannot go without mentioning Nick Perry. Who thinks Nick Perry is going to continue his dominant play? I am loving this guy. He seems to be like the most quiet, nicest guy, but he is a beast on the field. Give me a thumbs up right now if you think Nick Perry is going to have the most sacks in the game against the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm getting some love out there for Nick Perry. I got Troy saying Perry, Perry, Perry. That is like the Perry to the definitive level. All right, Benjamin says Perry. And one thing I meant to mention actually, is if you have another one, if one of the ones I don't mention, you think is going to have them, like maybe you think Kyler Fackrell is going to go out there and have 2 sacks in this game and nobody else is going to have more than 1. Just throw it in the comment line. That'd be fine, be interesting. And Rick is saying all Perry needs to do is stay healthy and he's a beast. And that's good to see him finally get that chance. And again, I'm going to knock on wood just because his history. But what a great, great season Nick Perry is having right now. I slather all over Mike Daniels because I love the way he plays. But Nick Perry is a beast out there. And we're going to see more sandwiches between. We saw one against the Bears. Now it's Perry and Matthews. You remember that one? Pretty freaking cool. But what a beautiful thing to have him in and then be able to rotate Julius Peppers in, who has the length. And it's not a 1-2 punch with Matthews and Julius. It's a 1-2-3 punch now with Matthews, Perry, and Peppers. This could be something. Remember, if you want to buy the line that defenses win championships, this is a defense that could shape up to be something really special. Our problem right now is that we are so decimated with injury, but hopefully Mike McCarthy's plan to rest the starters on the injury list will come to fruition, and we'll be fine down the road, right? Okay, well, that is top performers for the day, guys. All right, well, let's see. We've talked about keys to the game. It's Thursday. We got a game to watch tonight. I don't know. It's not like I have a peaceful, easy feeling about this game. I'll tell you that much for sure. I don't think anybody in Packer Nation does. I don't think anybody on the Packer team does, and I don't think they should. However, Aaron Rodgers talked about this week, that this team is not a team that is lacking in confidence that they can go to Atlanta and win games. They've been able to do that in the past. I mentioned that in my keys to the game. It's funny because two of the things that Aaron Rodgers mentioned in his press conference, I mentioned in my keys to the game. The first thing Aaron Rodgers mentioned was that fast start. We have to hit the ground running. We have to move the ball. We have to extend a drive. And we have to put points on the board. And in the red zone, we got to score touchdowns. No more field goals. So if we get off to that fast start, one of the benefits of that is we're going to take the Atlanta crowd out of the game. And that could bode very well, because right now you look at our running back situation, and we have to be running a fairly simple offense right now. We got Ty Montgomery, who we probably can do quite a bit with. But you get Niall Davis in there, and you're going to have to simplify things because he doesn't have the entire book under his belt right now. Now you get the crowd into it. You can't audible out. You can't change plays at the line. You struggle to change plays at the line. Now you have a real situation on your hands. However, if you get off to a fast start, you get into a rhythm early. And I think that short passing game, I think the brilliance of the short passing game is not that it is the be-all, end-all and the solution to our offensive woes, but that it gets our offense into a rhythm to the point where the shot plays become available. The running game then can develop out of that, and good things start to happen on offense. So Aaron Rodgers mentioned it. We've got to get off to a fast start. And the second one that I had talked about at the beginning of the week, and Aaron Rodgers mentioned, which I'm forgetting what it even is right now. But I mean, we have to get off to a fast start. Oh, but the other one is that this team isn't lacking in confidence. We have some wins down there. We have to play confident football, knowing that we can win this game. And if we do that, I think we've got a chance. And Rick is saying Rodgers needs to get the yips out and pull the trigger. This happy feet. And you remember the graphic. I loved that graphic where up to 2 seconds, Aaron Rodgers, like 75% completion percentage. At 5 seconds, it goes down to like 48 or like 50 something. And then it goes down below 40 after 7 seconds. And I've said this for years. Every time I'm sitting in my chair and every time Rodgers dances around, and I love his athletic ability. And I love his feel for the pocket and ability to avoid sacks. But I've been sitting there for 2 years now. Every time he does that and finally breaks out, I'm sitting there saying, we're not going to complete a pass. I know we're not going to complete a pass. And we never complete those passes. Now, one of those things is that, and you see the difference because Matt Ryan is one of the most sacked. He is the most, if I remember right, 18 sacks on Ryan in the league right now. The difference is when he does escape, he is in sync with Julio Jones and is connecting. And that is devastating. Now, if Aaron Rodgers can get to the point where he starts connecting on those rollouts, then those 7-second yips kind of play where he's dancing around and actually does break the pocket. That's one of the good things he can do. When he dances around, he does have good escapism. And Aaron Rodgers is devastating on the rollout, but it's when he plans to roll out. We've got a plan in place. So that's one of the things I like about what we've been doing lately. We've been rolling Aaron Rodgers out more, getting him on the run, but with the point of delivering the ball to half the field, rather than him bouncing around in the pocket and rolling out while the entire the wide receiver core is just struggling to figure out what's going on. Now, that it doesn't say that the wide receiver group needs to find ways to break out and get open because they're capable of doing it. But Aaron Rodgers needs to deliver that ball as well. So we've got there is an opportunity for us because there are always going to be those plays where Aaron Rodgers has to escape and it has to get extended and the offensive line has to hold. If we start completing those, there is definitely an opportunity for some big plays in that. But I want to see the opportunity come out of the way we run and execute our offense. It's almost as if this offense is hoping that they can score points based on the way they play after plays break down. Now that is a problem. That's a big red flag to me. I want to see this offense continue to be successful because of the way they execute plays. So Jeff is saying it's a 3-second release, or he's out holding the ball. We have to, and again, I think that this offense got in great rhythm because of the way that they threw the quick pass against the Chicago Bears. And we saw also that it opened up the shot plays. I have no problem. We got Jordy Nelson. I got no problem. I got nothing against shot plays. I have something against an offense that predicates itself upon shot play after shot play after shot play. A little bit of balance in that passing game, and then also if we have some success passing the ball, we hit one to Randall Cobb. Ty Montgomery comes out of the backfield. Now we hit up the middle with Niall Davis. We could see some good things. Mix it up a little bit. We are seeing, one of the things we're seeing because we've been forced to put Ty Montgomery in the backfield and run him, is he is a weapon back there, and he is a multiple player back there. And defenses are going to struggle to figure out, do we cheat out and just make sure we can contain him? Because we saw what happened when they cheated out and they contained him. He had a 30-yard run up the middle, and he laid the wood at the end of that play. I mean, Ty Montgomery can bring a load. I think the only thing really right now he's going to struggle to do, he's not a ground and pound, A-gap kind of a runner. Let's bring in Niall Davis and see what he can do, ladies and gentlemen. Well, all right, it's going to be interesting. Eva's saying we can't be predictable, and that's one of the things, again, that being forced to put Ty Montgomery in the backfield does for us. So it'll be interesting, and it's coming soon. I know, are you like me? All right, heart me if you're like me. Maybe I said this yesterday. It just feels like such a long week because, I watched football all Sunday, but it wasn't Packer football. And so for crying out loud, it's Thursday. That's great. We got some football tonight. But man, I just feel like it's taken forever for Sunday to get here. And maybe part of it is that this is such a pivotal game. And we should talk about that for a minute. This game is a pivotal game, right? For many reasons. I'm going to think through as many of the reasons as we can. If you have some more out there, you go ahead and lay them on me right now. And if I see them, I'll try and read them out if I don't get them. Number one is Aaron Rodgers and the wide receiver core got into a rhythm against the Bears. We need to continue that rhythm. Going to be a little more difficult against the Falcons. Number two is we got to win. We need to get a win. Okay, that's actually, that's the top. Number three is we are heading into a long stretch of away games. We can't afford to get off the ground wrong in this long stretch of away games. Number four is if we every win that we eke out. This is a good one. This is an important one. Every win that we eke out is another week closer to getting maybe just one guy back, right? Maybe getting just a little bit of help. Maybe just getting an extra guy for rotation in the defensive backfield. All right? And Waylon's right. Win is number one. That's the number one thing. And partly not just because of, if we lose, I see somebody pressing the panic button if we lose this one. If we lose this one in terms of mathematics, it's not time to press the panic button in terms of mathematics. But to the point is, if we lose this one, this is an offense that finally got some confidence, and we are afraid that we can see that confidence once again shattered. And that could be a major problem. Troy is no more injured. Please, I'm going to knock on wood. Because I think I said this yesterday, we are at the breaking point right now. Guys, I think we can still get it done because of our depth and because of the young players we brought in and the fact that we draft and develop. We've got players who know the system. We held everybody. This is the reason Mike McCarthy held everybody, all the veterans out during the preseason, was in hopes that number one, he was hoping they didn't get injured. Well, they waited till the season to get injured is basically what happened. Can't do anything about that now. But what that did is the preseason games, we got so many reps for these young guys that they actually have a lot more experience than a lot of other teams would be able to put on the field at this point. It's not good. It's not ideal by any stretch, but it does give us a little bit of an advantage right now. So if we can get it done, we get one more week. If we can get it done, we are right there with the Minnesota Vikings right now. We saw that they can falter. And I watched that game and they looked lackluster in that game. I think the Bradford thing is going to go the way of all things. It's one of those things where he came in, there's a lot of excitement, he hit some passes. We played poor offense against the Vikings. It wasn't that they played such great offense. They scored 17 points. We struggled a bit on defense and we struggled mightily on offense. So we've got to stay right there with the Minnesota Vikings. And I think we can do it if we can beat this Atlanta Falcons team. So, alrighty. Peter saying give Trevor Davis more opportunities. I see some agreements to some comments that I didn't catch. Defense is a good unit. If the corners play well, we win, plain and simple. I agree, Daniel, that the defense is a good unit. I disagree that if we play well, we win, plain and simple, for the reason that we can hold the Atlanta. If our defense plays well, then basically the Denver Broncos are the best defense the Atlanta Falcons have played and held them to 23 points. If our defense can match that and hold them to 23 points, I would think that would give us a chance to win. However, I think it's not that plain and simple because our offense has showed that we can go out on the field and lay an egg. We can spend 2 quarters scoring 3 points. And to your point, if our defense does that and our offense continues to improve, then yes. But I don't think it's plain and simple because our offense is going to have to score enough points to overcome whatever the Atlanta Falcons do, whether or not our defense plays well. Because, the best defense the Falcons have played, and the Falcons put up 23, I believe, on them. So that's a tall order for our defense, number one. So if they play well, here's my analysis of it. If our defense plays well, we hold the Falcons to the low 20s. This is not a team that I'm expecting us to hold under 20 points at this point, which tells me it is not that plain and simple because on the offensive side of the board, we've shown that we can have entire games where we do virtually nothing. And we definitely can have entire halves where we don't score for squat. So I think the offense is on notice right now. I think definitely the defense needs to. I think the plain and simple thing is if our defense plays well, plain and simple, our offense has a chance to just do enough to win this game. Angel says we can do it. Yeah, that's right. And I agree. Both sides have to show up in this game. Thank you. And again, and I'm not taking anything away from the comment or especially I love the comment that our defense has been once again sort of carrying the load. But our offense still is going to have to overcome some points in this game, I believe. And I may be wrong, and I see there was a comment earlier, I think, that projecting a low-scoring affair. If this becomes a defensive battle, I'd be surprised. I mean, I can see it becoming a defensive battle, but I still think, with both of these offenses, there's the potential for each of them to break that 20-point mark, is what I'm saying. Rick is saying the opposite. He's got a high-scoring game. Steve, Pat can beat the Atlanta. They're better record there on the road. Yeah, the Atlanta Falcons, they lost to the Chargers at home. They dropped their opener. They are on a 2-game skid. The Packers are right in the position to just put them into a tailspin right now. The same tailspin they had last year. And frankly, they're living off their offense. Offenses, and you know how this goes. We've seen it with ours. These offenses are so fine-tuned that if you can break the streak, they can fall apart fast. I mean, look what happened to ours, to be quite honest. We've been inches away from play after play after play after play. And that, again, goes to the point about the defense. I love the comment about the defense. If the defense plays well, if they go out there and the cornerbacks are decimated defensive backfield, gets the coverage job done, we start getting coverage sacks, Matt Ryan starts getting rattled, good things are going to happen. I just think that, again, on the opposite side of the board, we're going to have to put some points up. And David's making the comment, I've said this before, because, again, I don't go with any of the maxims out there. I don't go with the maxim that defense wins championships. because it's basically a populist maxim, and I can give examples where it's the offense that did the same thing, but scoring more points is what wins these games, period. And look at the freaking game. Look at Super Bowl 31, for crying out loud. The Packers were up against the wall, the Patriots, and guess who made the difference in that game? It was Desmond Howard with a touchdown, scoring points on special teams. So David with the point, it's the points scored that makes the difference. Now, obviously defense plays into it, and that's where the maxim comes from, is defense can keep offenses from scoring points. But yeah, I mean, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's going to be a tall order. I hope the Packers are up to it. I feel like they have more confidence than I would necessarily expect. I think they really needed the confidence boost of the way they played against the Bears, and hopefully they can get it done. So, and Steve is mentioning, yeah, who's the MVP? We had Brett Favre, we had the best defensive lineman ever to play the game, and Desmond Howard was the MVP of that Super Bowl. Now, this is rare, of course. We know nobody's thinking that that's going to happen regularly. And David has mentioned Crosby needs to bounce back too. And I refrained because I said from the minute that they signed Jacob Schum, I said the problem with Schum is not that he's going to suck as a punter, which he has for the most part. He's played a little better lately. The problem with Schum is that he's going to mishandle a kick, and we're going to miss field goals or an extra point that is needed to win a game. So this week, I went to those plays, and I refused to look at them. I did not want to see how that ball was held. The alignment, and I think it was the extra point, I think the alignment looked like it was crap. But again, I did not look at it. I refused to look at it because I just don't want to get myself into a tizzy about that. And Schum, and here's the thing. We talk about Schum, and I think what we've seen out of him is I think he can help us a great deal if our offense begins to click. The problem is, when we're just outside of the range of Mason Crosby. I think he could help us quite a bit, but he has so little range because of the height he gets on the ball. And when he gets that height, he gets this very vertical ball that can bounce straight up in the air. It's not necessarily going to travel very far. But the problem is our offense has to get to a certain point on the field, or Schum is going to absolutely falter. He's going to kill us. So we'll see how that goes moving forward, and hopefully he continues to improve. All right, well, guys, we'll close it up for the day. Guys, if you haven't gotten on firefan.com and signed up for the new league, we've got a league. I'm going to name it. It's going to be a Packer League for Packer Nation. But if you get on firefan.com and you want to win, this is our trophy. It's called the Precious. If you want to get on firefan.com and just put in the promo code GETTHERING, all one word, you can sign up for this new league. It's a new game that's coming out. You play with the Packers, not like fantasy. You don't have to study any stats or crap like that. You're making all the play calls that you make from your couch and you never get credit for, okay? So what could be better than that? We've got tons of, our league is going to be very big right now, I think. And I'm glad because one lucky winner is going to get our trophy to put on their desk. And they also get to wear the ring and smack talk me from taking it away from me. But all you have to do is go to firefan.com, jump on there. It'll ask for a promo code, Get the Ring, all one word, and it'll take you. You got to sign up, you put in your information, and then you're ready to go. When the game comes out, you go ahead and get it, and you're ready to play. I'll be talking more about that, but I definitely wanted to mention that today. For any of you MJs out there with the Precious, I am so stoked. I can't wait, guys, and this company, United Games, is the company building this. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but the creator of this game was creative director at EA Sports when they built Madden, NASCAR, and NCAA football. I mean, this guy knows what he's doing. But this is not going to be a Madden game. It's going to be kind of between fantasy sports and Madden. But you play it live, you play it one-handed, it's an app, you play it, it's free download, you play on your phone, you don't even have to put down your beer. And you're going to make these live coaching calls. And as you play along, you're going to get points. You're going to get, loyalty reward. You can get a whole bunch of cool stuff. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Okay, and Steve is asking what site again? It's FireFan. Just firefan.com. And that will bring up it brings up a football player with a promo code. The promo code is Get the Ring, all one word. Okay? And if you want, guys, let your friends and share it out that you got on this. Share out the website and the promo code. I'm happy for that. Again, very soon, if you sign up now, you're actually going to get perks for signing up before the game comes out. Because once the game comes out, I mean, you can. My feed is. Once the game comes out, you could just go to, you can go to the app, the Google Play, put in the code Get the Ring, and download it. You're filling out a little information now, and you get some perks. Soon I'll be able to tell you what those are. Okay. If I already had a code from you, I don't have to go to the site now, put in that code. No, if you signed up with me before, because previous to now, I had to do these by invitation and invite you. You don't have to do them more. You do not have to sign up a second time. It's just now that they've got everything developed to this point, you can go to the website and put in the promo code. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to let it. And yes, Tim, it is for the whole NFL. If you have friends that are not Packer fans, share it with them. Here's another thing. This is not only for every NFL team. This is going to be, it's going to come out with MLS soccer. If kids can play it, adults can play it. If you have kids that are in soccer and have an MLS team, they can play it. Okay. Also, if you have friends, like maybe you have a bunch of friends, as a player, you can start your own league and beat your buddies into submission. Okay. So you can play for this one, but you can also start your own league. Okay, so there's tons. It's a better way to play. It's just plain and simple. That's why I've said it from the beginning. We kind of loved it so much we bought the company. Is basically how it does. So yes, you are helping me out if you sign up for this game, but don't do it for that reason. Do it if you think it's going to be good, because I think it's going to be fantastic. It's a new way to play. Give it a try, and we'll see where we go from there. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to close it up. I talked about that way too much. We're going to move all that over to a different forum in a little bit when the game comes out. All right, David, have a good one. We'll talk to you later. Who else is out there still? Layla? Looking forward to a good, solid performance. Absolutely. Good. Talk to you later, Tim. All right, you guys have a great Thursday. A little bit of football tonight, and tomorrow's Friday, folks. So have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat place. Get the ring.